So we'll cover a few more practicals today on the Juniper technology, and let's access this EVNG. Let me give quick review what we have done yesterday. This is the IP address we have on VPC4 along with the gateway, right? And the gateway is this VMX router G001 interface. Let's access this as well. Booting up, it's quite heavier, so it takes time to boot up. Whereas I counted this as a ISP router. So IP address, and you have a static use of VMX router. It's my WinSCP is a software used to upload image from our computer to the event. Okay, so here we have the IP address 147.148. I already have access here for 147. In with the login, and with the root, the password is EBE. So already these images are there in the EVNG, and if you check the location, it is OPT Unit Lab add-on KIM. Okay, and I'm going to add one more image here. This is VSRX. It's quite older image, but it will work for our basic practicals. We just have to drag and drop it here. So if we check now, should get a Juniper image of VSRX. Okay. So VMX is available and VSRX is available. Okay. By default, it takes 2 vCPU and RAM is 2 GB and 4 Ethernets available. Let's connect. We can directly connect this to our cloud network. So cloud network is cloud 0, which will help us to connect with the laptop. You can use GE000 to connect with this. Already 2 GB is occupied here. Let's check how much it will support. Means my laptop will support on this. I've not tested with both the nodes at the same time. We'll see if it supports. We'll see how it works. It's booting up. Meanwhile, we'll go back to VMX. So our VMX is ready. Root EVE. Sorry, root and password is admin@123. Admin 123. Okay, so we can see the configuration available in our VMX router. But if you just run show configuration command, it will show you in this format, okay, which is not very convenient. So there is another format which we can utilize. Do you remember, guys? Yesterday we use a pipe command. Along with that, one option we have to specify to get the output in the set format. Do you remember? Correct. Ganesh has given that input to me. Thanks. Display set. So the rest of the things are as it is, but this host name, the root authentication, and the interface and the routing options that we have set ourselves. Okay. If you want to enable, your JWeb or graphical user interface, by default it is not enabled. If you want to enable it, you have to make few changes in it. Okay. So let me show you. Here you can see under services, we have to enable we have to enable web management and HTTP. Okay. So if we enable this, we will be able to access it. And furthermore, under web, under services web management, we have to include HTTP, HTTPS, and HTTP should be accessible over management interface, that's FXP0.0, whereas HTTPS will be available for all the interfaces. Right? So let's try to make these changes available on VMX. Okay. So where we have to go? First of all, we have to go into the configuration mode, right? And if you want to make changes in the system, you have to go into edit system. Okay. Previously, only edit was available, right? Because you were on the top of the hierarchy. Now you are entered into the system. Okay. And under system, we have to check the services. So we have a command here, show services, and you can see here we don't have any service available here. So we will set few services here, right? So set services, right? And what options are available? There are multiple services, like telnet is one of the service, SSH is one of the service, right? We have DHCP. Web management should also be available, but it is not there in the VMX by default. In VMX, web is not available. Let's do one thing. We will first of all enable SSH. Right? So SSH is available, and let's try to and we can enable the telnet as well. Let's enable the telnet as well. Telnet. Okay. And we have to make few more changes. Let's check, can we enable web management? But I don't think, because it's not available in VMX. In case of VSRX or the firewall, it is available by default, but in case of VMX, it is not by default available. So let's check with the SSH, edit, services, SSH, enter this. Do we have any options for the interface? That's not needed, I think. Here we can go directly. And right now we are in the system services, right? System services SSH. And if you check here show command, it shows you nothing because we don't have anything set within a SSH service. If you go one step up or two step up, right? So you will see from SSH to the services, from services to the system. So we are scrolling within the set of system configuration. If you want to check where we are exactly and how it is connected to each other, we can use this hierarchy system. This is called as like a moving between levels. So here you can see within a system, services are there, right? And if you go toward the protocol, we have protocol like OSPF. Within a OSPF, what options are available? These are the different options available, right? Within an area, what we can do, we can set the interface, we can set the type of area like this, right? So if you want to move from one step to another step, we can use up command. Just now I have used up to, right? Means we move two step up from SSH to the services and services to the system. And if you want to go to the top of hierarchy, right? Means we should not have system also there. So we can directly type top, right? And we will be in the top of the hierarchy, means you will go directly to the top of the hierarchy with the top command. And in Linux, we have, let me check here. In Linux, we have, at the end of the session, I'll share the link again, Pura. So in the Linux, we have absolute path and relative path, right? So within this, if I go to edit system, right? So I am specifying the path, right? And if you want to go directly to that particular settings, we can say edit system. We are already in the system, so we'll say edit first go to the top, and then we can specify the exact path like edit system login or edit system services. And within that, we can specify like SSH. We are directly jumping to the particular SSH services. So this is how we have to deal with the Juniper configuration. If you want to exit from the level, exit command is there. And if you want to exit from the configuration mode, this command will also work. Directly it will go, because if you go exit, it will take you one step back. And if you say exit configuration mode, it will take you to the operational mode. Okay. This question is pretty simple. Which symbol visually represent the hierarchical structure of the configuration? Hierarchical structure. See, if you want to see here, show, if I can say top, show configuration. Let's first of all go to the top and then show. So the hierarchical structure is represented by curly braces, right? So we can say this curly braces can be utilized for the hierarchical structure representation, right? So here web management is not possible in case of VMX router. Let me check, is our VSRX is booted up? Yes, but this VSRX is first time booting up. That's why it came up with the amnesia, means it's like an anonymous login. So as you know, in the previous session, for anonymous login, we have to log in with the root account without password. And we do have to set few more things here. So we'll go to the operational prompt from the shell prompt, right? And we'll set few more things here. We are in the operational mode. We go to the configure, right? And we'll set host name first. How to set the host name? Host name is under which configuration? Do you remember, guys? Correct. It is under system, right? And under system, we have host name. Let's keep it as VSRX1. Okay. Beside this, we have to set the password also. Set system root authentication, right? And plain text password. Here also, I'm going to set same admin 123, admin 123. Okay. First show. So I have few changes here like host name, root authentication, and under services, if you have noticed here, we have SSH, we have web management, and under web management, we have HTTP, okay, and we do have interface GE000. So you can see here, according to the diagram, this GE000 is connected with this cloud, and this cloud will connect to the laptop. Okay, when you select a network as cloud 0, okay, it will connect you to the laptop, right? Or your base network, right? So let's see here. Rest of the settings are default settings. We have not done anything on this, but this interface, it doesn't have a IP address, and for web access or for the web management, right, we do need a IP address, but in under interface we don't have any IP address, so we need to set the IP address here through which we can access it. And there are default policies and all that is not useful for us, zones and all. So we'll do one thing, we'll set the IP address. So display set. As this is a firewall, there are default configuration on this: host, inbound traffic, system services, DHCP. Okay, we'll try to get the IP address first on this. So set interfaces GE 0/0/0 unit 0 family. We are going to add the IP address here, family inet. Okay. So we can get the DHCP based client also here. So let's configure a DHCP client address. Let's do the commit check. As this is a firewall, it takes little more time to do the commit check. This commit check before getting a reply from this. Let's check what. Okay, there is nothing wrong in the configuration, so we can go for the commit. And after commit, we should get the IP address from this cloud, because this cloud is actually a NAT configuration. Just like 192.168.147.148 we have received on EVNG, right? Likewise, we should receive a IP address to this VSRX on GE00 interface, which act as a management interface right now. Later on, we can connect this network as a connection to this switch. There are some messages. Let's exit from this. We are in the operational mode. How to check the interface details in the brief? Yesterday we have seen the show IP interface brief command on Cisco router, and similar version we have seen on the Juniper. Correct, Ganesh? So show interface TERS. Okay, and specifically if you pay attention on GE000 with this IP address 192.168.147.128, right? And hopefully we should have a default route as well. So let's check the default route. How to check the default route? What is the command? In case of Cisco router, we have show IP route to check the routing table. And in case of Juniper router, similar command is show route. Correct, Ganesh? So we do have a route available here, 000./0, right? And this has a little higher AD value because default route has a AD value of 5. You notice yesterday we did that, right? And here it is 12. Okay. So let's check whether this IP is available from our laptop. So first of all, I'll ping to this IP. Maybe ping will not reply because this is a firewall, and firewall there are so many rules and restrictions which may not allow us to reply back, right? But maybe HTTP is accessible. So we'll do one thing. We'll just type this IP address here, and if everything works fine, we should be able to get the JWeb access. Okay, so this is a basic Juniper Web Device Manager or JWeb Access, right? Username root and password is admin 123. Let's try to get the JWeb access. Okay. So today we'll not work on this JWeb access, but I just shown you how to upload the image via WinSAP. Okay. Plus this how we can access, or how we can access it via this where it's EVNG cloud network. Okay, so this is very old version of JWeb, but it's good enough. We will do little advanced practical later on with this, like a practical with the firewall filtering and the NAT. Okay, we'll try to do NAT and we'll see routing also with the help of JWeb. Okay? So this image is a working image because it requires less number of vCPU, less amount of RAM. So I'm going to add this VSRX also in the same folder. Add it.
Sir, what about the switch you are using, sir? Is it Cisco switch or Juniper switch?
Uh, in the even this one,
Yes, yes.
this is just a switch like this. Okay, this is not a Cisco switch. In GNS also you have seen a generic switch. So this is a generic switch. Okay, it will not even give you an
Okay,
option for the VLAN or all. If I
got it,
want
got
to
it.
set up a VLAN, then there is another option. So we have a Cisco IOL device for that purpose. Okay. Okay, let's go to the folder and under this I have VSRX. I need to upload a folder here instead of file. I've also given the access now. You guys need a Eve light also on this, and this Eve light is not uploaded yet. It's going to take more time. So let it be that I'll share it with you later on, not in the session. But this VMX and VSRX you guys can download, right? And does anyone has a Eve light installed on your machine? It's a customized EVE-NG. So the one which I'm using is a EVE Lite, EVE Lite, customized EVE-NG machine, which already has a Cisco devices in it. Okay. So our JWeb is accessible now, right? And if you want to remove anything from the configuration, that is also very straightforward. For example, I have a let's add a interface here on this VMX, right? I'm going to add one interface here. So let's add a loopback interface, loopback 0 with the IP address 1.1.1.1. Okay, and later on we will delete it as well. So I'm going to add it here under the VMX. Let's go to the VMX. So first of all, I'll go to the top of the hierarchy, and then here I'm going to set interface loopback 0 unit loopback interface. I think we cannot add it straightforward here. Let it be. We'll do one thing. We will, for the time being, I'm going to delete this interface G, or let's add a interface GE002. It should be available to us. So first of all, I'll go to the edit interface. Okay. Then set, right? And here we have, okay, forward this. And Ganesh also reminded this, right? Who also reminded this logical interface, right? Yes, Harish, I'm going to give that link. Let it be. We will use our physical interface this time. Set interface GE 0/0/1. 1 and 0 we have already used. Let's use 2, right? Then unit 0. Okay. And we'll use family inet, family inet address. Okay. And we can connect this with the IP address 1.1.1.1/8. Okay. And let's commit this. Okay. And let's suppose we want to delete this. So we can use a delete command. So top delete GE delete interface GE002.0 means unit 0 family inet address 1.1.1.1/8. If you check the show compare, you will see these settings are going to be removed from our configuration. Or else, let's commit this first. We'll set it again. But this time as we are on the top of the hierarchy, we have to specify the interface as well. And for the time being, if you want to disable it, let's consider we are already on the top of the hierarchy. So we have interfaces and the GE002 is also there. Let's consider we have to disable this interface for the time being. So that is also possible. First of all, we'll go to that interface, edit interfaces, right? And there is a disable command, but it's not readily available here. Let me check. Let's go to that particular interface, edit GE002. Okay, not disable, we have deactivate. Okay, deactivate, add the inactive tag to the statements, delete. Let me check in the document. I have mentioned this wildcards, delete. Okay, let it be. So we'll try the deactivate option here. Mm, not only- Okay, I'm facing some issues on this. We should miss just like a shutdown command in case of Cisco routers, we have a disable option also, but it is not readily working on this. Here we have a disable this logical interface. I think
We need to use at the end of the command line. Disable.
okay, Imran, you're saying use disable at the end of the command line. We'll see that. We'll cover that point later on. Right? Let it be. Uh, let's see the few other options that we can readily work on. If you want to make the changes with multiple entries, so we have a wildcard options. Here, delete option we have seen, right? And we can apply delete to multiple entries like wildcard, delete, interface GE. So all the interfaces starting with gigabit will get deleted, right? So we can try this because we have three gigabit based interfaces. I'm going on the top of the hierarchy first of all. Then we can try wildcards, delete interfaces, and whichever interface starts with GE. Okay, start. So we can apply it like this, but I'm not going to commit this. Okay. So for the time being, let's say yes. Okay. And if you see here, show compare. Okay. So all these settings will be applied. Means like all these three interfaces that we have configured, these interface configurations will go away. Right? But I don't want to do that. Right. So we can do one thing: roll back 0. So now if we check show compare, we don't have anything. So you understood what is the role of rollback here? Yes, Pura, I'm going to share it in the PDF format right later on. by running this rollback 0, what happened? Practically, what you have observed, guys. What is the role of rollback? Yesterday, we spoke about candidate configuration and the active configuration, right? So you, when you make the changes, that those changes will be available in the candidate configuration. But you realize I don't want to get this candidate configuration added into active configuration. So what you will do? You will remove this by running a command rollback 0, right? So rollback 0 means your last configuration, last active configuration. So your last active configuration will be loaded into candidate configuration, and whatever settings you have done, that will go away. Is it clear, guys? If you want to check this in the diagram, I have one slide for this. This one. Okay. So your active configuration is a configuration 0. Okay. And prior to, suppose today, whatever configuration we have, that's counted as configuration 0. Yesterday, suppose we made some changes, right? So that will be the previous configuration is like a configuration 1. Previous to that, suppose you made a few more changes on day before yesterday, so that will be 2, configuration 2, right? And then 3 days back you have made some more configuration that got updated, so it is like a 3-day old configuration. Like this 49 configuration is available. I, for the sake of simplicity, I'm telling you days, but it is not days. Within a 1 day, suppose yesterday I made 2 commits, so there will be a configuration 0 right now, and prior to that there is a configuration 1, right? Suppose in the morning I did 1 commit, so it will be like a configuration 1 before 9 a.m. in the morning. Yesterday 9 a.m. in the morning, it will be like counted as configuration 1. Are you following this? Like today it is 8 o'clock, 8:23 p.m. and yesterday I ran a commit at 8 a.m. Okay, so this is my or let's consider today 8 a.m. I have done 1 commit. So prior to 8 a.m. in the morning, the configuration was configuration 0. After that, it becomes, means before 8 a.m. the configuration was 1. And after 8 a.m. when I ran the commit command, right, after making few changes, so it becomes configuration 0, right? And yesterday 8 p.m. I've committed 1 more commit, right? So that's before that, whatever configuration was there, that will be counted as configuration 2. You got my point? Like this, how many configuration we can store? We can configure, we can keep 49 configuration like this. Okay, from 0 to 49, which means total 50 configurations can be kept in the past, right?
So it will be in a day, day, right? In a day, we can change 49.
Uh, it's not in a day. See, whenever change happens, like suppose you are working as a network engineer, so you don't do the changes on your own. You will do the changes on the requirement. Am I right?
Okay.
So the changes may come 5 times a day, or changes may come 5 times a week, or changes may come 5 times a month. So it's all depend on the like a dynamic nature of your network. If it is an enterprise network, it may be the case for a month you may not have 5 changes, right? But if it is a data center, in a 1 week you may have 5 changes. If it is a internet service provider, maybe you may have 5 times changes in a in a day. So it all depends on the requirement, right? So whenever you make the changes, the previous file is counted as a configuration file. Clear? And the last configuration file is configuration 0. So if we want to go back, you have to run command rollback 0, right? And it will be difficult to get back to the configuration 2. Suppose configuration before configuration 2, what changes are there? If you want to know, you can put annotations there. So there is a command to put the annotations. Let me show you. Commit check, we have seen. Commit confirm is a little different than this. Yes, commit add, then clear system. Yes, here we have a comment. So commit comment changed OSPF configuration. So suppose you want to put, means hardly in a day there is a one change. So you can put a date also, like commit comment 8/08/03/24. So today's date it will be counted, right? And for what ticket you made the changes, so you can put the ticket number also. So in the future, if you want to check what is the situation before this commit, so we can check it along with the date, along with the ticket numbers, and the ticket details are available. Right? Viewing candidate config, that's simple, that we are done multiple times. Commit check also we have seen. Commit confirm. So commit confirm, if you run a commit confirm, what it do? It's take a 10-minute time span or 10 minutes time window, right? And it will take a confirmation from your end, means it roll back after 10 minutes unless and until you confirm it. Suppose you want to test some you want to test particular interface. That interface normally you don't use, so you will run it with the commit confirm, and after 10 minutes you will fall back to the previous interface. Means suppose you have an active interface and you have a passive interface, or you have a primary interface and you have a secondary interface. Two links are there. So from primary to secondary you switch, right? But after 10 minutes again you will switch back to the primary. So you can use commit confirm in that case. Okay. If you want to commit at particular time period, suppose you want to test that activity at midnight, and after that means like only the junior engineers are available, the senior engineers will not may not be available, right? And junior engineer doesn't have access to make these changes, so we can run a commit at a particular time period. That is also possible. If you want to check the previous commits, that is also possible. We can use show system commit, right? So all the changes are done by root. If multiple users are logged in, how many max users can be logged in? That I also mentioned in the document. 32 users are possible at a time, right? But obviously it's a maximum number of users, right? We hardly 3 or 4 users are logged into the device, and if the multiple users are logged into the device, then we have to take care, because everyone is making changes. Suppose 4 users are making changes, then if anyone run a commit, right? So it may create a problem on the configuration. Are you following this point, guys? Means suppose we have a VMX router, and suppose VPC4, VPC5, VPC6, we have taken a SSH access from these VPCs, and 3 engineers are working on it. Okay, one engineer has made the changes on GE000, and the other engineer has made another change or another IP address has configured on this. You got my points, miss. Three engineers has done three different candidate configurations. And if suppose VPC5 user run a commit, so VPC4 and VPC6 changes will not be applied. Rather, VPC5 changes will get applied, and it is not in synchronization. So this may create a problem. So if you want to avoid this problem, there is an option called as configure exclusive. So what it does, it keeps a exclusive copy of the candidate configurations, and other users commit will not work. Only this user's commit will be working. Just like two options are there. One is like a exclusive, the other one is private. So what I said is like a private actually, and exclusive means to exclude other users from editing the config. Means suppose L1 engineer and L2 engineers are working simultaneously. Two L1 engineer and one L3 L2 engineer, the senior engineer. So senior engineer may run a configure exclusive command for this purpose, and the junior engineer can just check what's happening there or monitor there, right? And if two L2 engineer, two senior engineers are working, so they may run a configure private command. So the private command will create a private copy of the two senior engineers, right? So separate copy will be uh, created, and only means like a if user issue rollback 0, only user will change the discarded. Means particular users changes will be applied. You will not be you are not going to apply the another senior engineer's changes, right? So it's a private copy. Later on, I'll show you practically how it's going to work when we'll create a multiple users. We don't have multiple users right now. We just have one user, that's a root user. I'll show you the login classes and multiple users. Right? With that, we can work on this practically. What else we have to cover today? Let me check. We have seen commit comparison. We have seen show configuration and compare, right? If you want to roll back to a particular configuration, like day before yesterday's configuration, that is also possible, right? We can use show configuration, right? And we can compare it with a rollback. Let's consider rollback 2. There is no change on this. Let's consider rollback 7. So in rollback 7, we don't have this gigabit interface configured, routing options configured. So if I roll back 7, all these routing options will be removed. The interface configuration will also be removed. Okay, so this is a comparison between today's configuration or today's active configuration and the previous 7 configuration. You got the point, guys? Okay. And there is one more important concept related to commit and the configuration that's called as a rescue configuration, right? So if you want to, let's consider we have a greenfield deployment. Greenfield deployment means a new setup we are doing, and uh, on first day we made some changes, on second day we made few more changes, on the third day most of the changes done. Now all the routers and firewall, everything is working fine now, and this is like a milestone setup. all required configurations are done. Okay. In future, if anything goes wrong, we can revert back to this milestone setup. So we can count this active configuration as a rescue configuration. So first of all, we have to uh, save this as a rescue configuration. How we can do that? We have to use a save command for this. Save. First of all, we need to create a configuration as a rescue configuration. Is there any save option? Yes. After entering into this configuration mode, we can use a save option. Save, right? And we can give a name to this as a rescue. Okay. And okay, we need to commit this, I believe. Okay. And let's run. I think we have to first of all go to the operational mode. Request system configuration. Okay, I made one mistake here. So request system configuration as rescue. Save, right? So this make it as a rescue configuration, right? And if we check here, roll back. So actually there is no difference in the previous configuration and the rescue configuration. What I'll do, I'll remove some of the settings, and then like here, if I show you show interface ters, right? So I have the IP address on this interface, right? What I'll do, I'll deliberately delete this and then load the rescue, and we should get it back. Okay. So let's go to the configuration. Let's delete the interface GE000 2.0, right? And let's commit this. If we exit and cross check, do we have that interface? So GE002 is not available with any configuration as 1.1.1.1. And let's use a rollback rescue, right? And commit this, or we can check the compare, show compare. Right? So this particular changes will be done. We'll commit this, and after commit, we should be equipped with this GE002.0 configuration. Okay, so with this command, a rescue request system configuration rescue save command, you can create a rescue, right? And later on, you can use this rescue whenever any major changes happen or any drastic changes happen, we can use this rescue options to get back to the rescue setup. Okay. Okay. Now we have one question here. Which command enable you to determine the difference between active configuration and the rollback configuration? If it is A, B, C, and D, what you will answer on this, guys? Okay. Show, compare, right? But show compare will give you the active configuration and the candidate configuration difference. But they are asking you active configuration and the rollback configuration. We can specify rollback number here, right? And show configuration, compare rollback should give you the exact difference between the current active configuration and the past rollback configuration, right? So B should be the answer here, or the second should be the answer, right? So this is the correct answer. I'll make the FTP ready, guys, and we will use the save settings. So save we have seen for the we have seen this for the rescue, but if you want to save it somewhere else, like on the FTP, how we can do that, we'll see that later on. Right? Load command can be used to load that particular configuration saved on FTP. Right? When you use a load command, the different options are there like factory default, merge, patch, and update. Right? So if you take factory default, it replaces the configuration and load the factory default configuration. If you take update, it will get updated with the new changes. Patch means add delete. Merge means current configuration with the newly added configuration or loaded. Other helpful commands we have rename, replace, copy, right? This in the upcoming session I'll show you with particular scenarios. We have deactivate, we have insert terms, we have annotate. The other helpful commands that we can have is like a here you can see deactivate, so that particular interface will get deactivated. Right? Annotate means we can put the comment on this. We can insert a particular statements in between, right, for the policy. So when we'll do a routing policy or the firewall filter policies, that time we will see this. Let it be, guys. The rest of the points we will cover in the next session. And let me share that Google Drive one more time. Okay. So if you have EVNG or EveLight, you can directly upload it, or else I'll share a EveLight EveLight image link. Uh, for that, I'll share it with the coordinator team, and they will share with you in the WhatsApp groups then.
So this light link, suppose if I already have EVNC,
So
so
you can upload it with the help of WinSCP like this.
okay, okay, same like this. Got it.
Yeah, so already I have VMX here and VSRX also. Today I shown you how to upload it, right? So in the
Okay.
same folder, OPT Unit Lab add-on,
Yeah, got it.
and it is already customized with the file name and all. You just have to upload it, and readily it will be available in our node section. So if I go here, Juniper, it should be available like this. VMX and VSRS. Okay. Okay, guys. So we'll stop our session here. Rest of the points we'll see in the upcoming sessions.